This is so important, and it needs to be reiterated and repeated and taught. But high crimes and misdemeanors were not created by accident for impeachable reasons. You have to do something really criminal with your power of authority before you can be impeached. The Constitution does not want the president to be abusive in his power and authority. It has to be real abuse of that power and authority, real criminal abuse.
That is the key argument I'm presenting today. This view was supported by text writers and judges close in time to the founding. William Oldwell Russell, whose 1819 treatise on criminal law was a Bible among criminal law scholars and others, defined high crimes and misdemeanors as, quote, such immoral and unlawful acts as are nearly allied and equal in guilt to a felony, and yet, owing to the absence of some technical circumstances, do not fall within the definition of a felony. Similar views were expressed by some state courts, others disagreed. Curtis considered views, and those of Dwight, Russell, and others, based on careful study of the text and history, are not bonkers, absurdist, legal claptrap, or other demeaning epithets thrown around by partisan supporters of this impeachment. As Judge Starr pointed out, they had the weight of authority. They were accepted by the generation of founders and the generations that followed. If they are not accepted by academics today, that shows a weakness among the academics, not among the founders.
Now, this is critical thinking, and it's correct thinking, and it should be applied today. This new liberal law is not conducive to high moral value.
These who disagree with Curtis's textual analysis are obliged, I believe, to respond with reasoned counter-interpretations, not name-calling. If Justice Curtis's arguments and those of Dean Dwight are rejected, I think then proponents of impeachment must offer alternative principles, alternative standards for impeachment and removal. We just heard that in 1970, Congressman Gerald Ford, who I greatly admired, said the following: in the context of an impeachment of a justice, an impeachable offense is whatever a majority of the House of Representatives considered it to be at a given moment in history, etc. You all know the quote. Congresswoman Maxine Waters recently put it more succinctly in the context of a presidential impeachment. Here's what she said: impeachment is whatever Congress says it is. There is no law. But this lawless view would place Congress above the law. It would place...
That is the point. It would place Congress above the law, and they're not.
Congress above the Constitution. For Congress to ignore the specific words of the Constitution itself and substitute its own judgments would be for Congress to do what it is accusing the president of doing. And no one is above the law, not the president and not Congress. This is precisely the kind of view expressly rejected by the framers, who feared having a president serve at the pleasure of the legislature, and it is precisely the view rejected by Senator James Grimes when he refused to accept an interpretation of high crimes and misdemeanors that would change according to the law of each senator's judgment enacted in his own bosom. The Constitution requires, in the words of Gouverneur Morris, that the criteria for impeachment must be enumerated and defined. Those who advocate impeachment today are obliged to demonstrate how the criteria accepted by the House in this case are enumerated and defined in the Constitution. The compelling textual analysis provided by Justice Curtis is confirmed by the debate in the Constitutional Convention, by the Federalist Papers, by the writings of William Blackstone, and I believe by the writings of Alexander Hamilton, which were heavily relied on by lawyers at the time of the Constitution's adoption.
There you are. Thanks for that article, Brett Bart. Here we go. We can't just deny history or the legal history or the moral history that surrounds all those things. It's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. True and succinct and accurate and morally correct. Legally correct. Good day. Review what this man just said. Good day.